What's up? We're just gonna talk for a sec. I'm about to make a video for my other channel, and I was telling my wife, I was trying to figure out where I wanted to record it, and then she was like, basically she convinced me to just take the car out, and I was like, okay, well, I'll find somewhere to record it, and I'll talk to you guys too. So here we are. And I was thinking a lot of different things. The first one I want to talk to you guys about is, who y'all watching right now? Like, who you watching on YouTube in general, or cars, right? I found myself here recently gravitating towards Wheeler with his new ZR1. And I just like his style. It's like, I got the car and I'm gonna learn the car and I'm gonna share the car. Like, I really like Wheeler's style. And it's just kind of like Wheeler, to me, it's not like Wheeler looked like he got money, okay? Like, Wheeler bought the car and decided to put it on YouTube, was on YouTube and decided to add the car, is using the car for YouTube. I don't know. I just feel like he's super legit. I just feel like him and Drag Times, I think Drag Times is like the money. The YouTube is the fun part. YouTube is the Hamilton collection, and it is the Burlacker. It is the, we do this for fun. We do this to share. And I honestly think that it's twofold. Like, we as creators, we as car people, we as owners, financiers of these vehicles want to share, but we also want to connect. But then as viewers want to learn, connect, relate, resonate, or just live. And so, like, I saw some clip, it might have been on Instagram, it might have been on TikTok, it might have been on YouTube, but there was two guys standing, it looked like on the Nürburgring, and they were saying how the videos were delayed because of some build holdups of a 360 and one other car. I don't remember what the other car was. I think he said 360, I think he said Chevelle. And I'm like, yo, I want to know more. I want to see this, because I'm never going to build a 360. I'm probably not going to build a Chevelle. So it's like, I need you guys, or these other channels, these other creators, these other people, so that, I can get that. I can feel that vibe, And so I saw somebody on TikTok, and he used to do some sick builds, but he moved on. I think he got rid of a C8. That's how I found him on TikTok. He got rid of his C8 Z06. He said right after he got rid of it, he said the engine blew up. I asked him whose signature was on the motor. He didn't know. But then I kind of started looking at some of his content, and it looks like he moved on to McLaren maybe. But it looks like he's got plenty of money. But it also seemed like he's like, I'm done building. I'm just going to buy the car that's already done and just live life simply, which I don't argue. I don't disagree. I've been through a very, very, very long list of cars and a lot of modifications, and also building cars that by the time you get done building them, you're like, you can't or don't really want to drive them. And so to then say, okay, well, now I'm in a position financially to be able to just buy the supercar and enjoy the supercar, and supercars are extremely super now compared to like 10, 15, 20 years ago. I don't fault anybody for that, which is part of some of the other conversation that I wanted to have with you, which has to do with the ZR1. But as far as like who you're watching, who I'm watching, Wheeler is definitely taking over. I'll get some Whistling Diesel every now and then. I really like Haggerty, but pretty much I'm in for Haggerty for Jason Camisa and Randy Popes. And one other that popped up on my feed and in conversation the other day was Luke Terry, which I never really watched Luke Terry, but I learned that he was actually, associated with Stradman, but then parted ways, and then he tried to do his own thing, and then I don't know where he went. Much like there was a curly long-haired guy in Colorado and his girlfriend, and they were wrapping cars, and I think they had a 987 Cayman, and I think eventually they got an F430 and maybe something else, and then it just disappeared. They just disappeared. But I think I did see him on Stradman's video driving a Murcielago, maybe.
Oh, sweet mercy, 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 mercy. Clayton, we got Tanner. Dude, thank you for detailing cars. Clayton came down all the way from Utah, brought all the detailing equipment, cleaned all the cars this morning. I appreciate it, dude. Of course. Tanner, thanks for coming down too.
Absolutely. Heading to the opening of Strad Pizza. So the people are still there. It's just, where did they go? Which honestly, I really like the car community from the perspective of, you do it because you love it and you enjoy it and you share it on YouTube, and you're not letting YouTube control your car, your purchase, your modifications, your influence you in any way, shape, or form. It's really just a place to share and communicate with people around the world. Who was the other one? There's some guy with a C8, but he's like, you know, he's just like, he's doing every test, every modification, every product you should buy, and it's like a little over the top. But to each their own, you know. And you know, what do you guys think about clickbait? What do you think about clickbait? That's going to tie into the ZR1 conversation in a minute. One more channel, Cars with Luke. I used to watch Cars with Luke. I used to watch Cars with Luke. I think his nighttime rolling shot of that 992 touring, GT3 touring was really, really good. But I will say that Cars with Luke really let me down when he posted a video of the new 992.2, I believe. And I think in the video it broke down. And I'm all for it, because especially at the time, I'm looking at buying a 911. And it seemed like from the start of the video, he was kind of upset with the car and the way that the 911 was progressing into being such a watered down, muted, dull, just, you know, lay there missionary style and just get it over with experience, expensive experience. And then on top of that, it had an error or a malfunction. And then the next thing I know, the video was gone. It was deleted, or it wasn't visible to the public. And then it came back. Either it came back and that part was gone, or the video never came back. And odds are Porsche or whoever allowed him to borrow the car and use for the video probably had their say in whatever it was, which I'm not going to call him an honest journalist, because if you're an honest journalist, you should share the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. But that alone was kind of like, damn, why you got to do me like that? Why you got to do me like that, Luke? He still makes some sick videos. He's got great cinematography, and the effort and energy he puts into the camera angles and the audio and the color grading and the access to the cars he has, and let alone the environment in which he is capable of taking these cars out and driving them, is amazing. And then he's got that app, like Driving Roads app, which is really cool. Like Find Driving Road. I need to use that app. See if there's anything over here that I don't know about. Because I will say, moving from Atlanta to Florida, we went from like a wide variety of driving locations and terrain and elevation and sweeping turns and changes to, yeah, you got one road pretty much. That's it. That's it. Side note, if you're visiting or you're just new here and you're driving down 98 on a golf cart, you're probably going to get pulled over and given a citation and have the golf cart towed. You can't drive these golf carts, even if they're street legal, which they all need to be street legal, on public roads with speed limits over 35 miles an hour. It's illegal. A lot of vacationers here renting houses and condos and beach houses, getting access to these golf carts as a perk to the Airbnb or VRBO or whatever it may be, don't read the fine print or know the laws. And best case scenario, you get pulled over, you get a ticket, you get towed, and you lose some money. Worst case scenario, you find yourself in a situation where you're in an accident and you're harmed or even killed. Sadly, we've seen that happen. Bing bong, bing bong. All right. You guys see this? I don't know if y'all can really see this. Maybe let me go to this side. I don't know if you guys can see this. And how absolutely filthy these wheels are. The car itself is actually extremely dirty. We're on 4K 60. I don't know if I'm gonna export it in 4K, but we're 4K 60. I don't know if it really picks up just how freaking dirty. This shit is so dirty. Oh my God, it's been raining. I've been driving this shit through the rain, and it's just so bad. So I came over here to the car wash. I don't know. I was thinking about maybe like running it through just to see how good a job it would do. I think I might try it. I'm not gonna like spray it like that. I was actually thinking about spraying it with just like the pre-soak, but I think what I'll, oh no, okay. All right. See, I thought these over here were touchless, but these have like brushes and shit. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. And I don't know, is this guy living in this? He might be living in that one. These cars are just chilling. All right, yeah, so I'm not gonna mess around with those. But the reason why I was even considering it is because I got to get a new hose for my pressure washer, the inlet hose, the garden hose. And it's not like there's anything wrong with the garden hose that I have. It's just that, long story, we got a pool cleaning company, and they came by yesterday and we weren't home, and they went to fill up the pool because it needed water. They didn't know we had a hose in the back, so they went to the front of the house, the side of the house, and then ended up taking my hose off the side of the house. The hose that I had all fixed up for quick connects for my pressure washer. They disconnected everything, took it to the back so they could fill the pool up. I was like, God damn it, I don't feel like fucking putting this shit back together, doing all this. Plus, it was a 50-foot hose. It was overkill. So I said, you know what? This is a sign. So I'm keeping that hose in the backyard. And what I did was I went to Clean Garage and I just ordered the hose that I really wanted, which was a 5-foot inlet hose, 5/8 or 3/8. I can't remember. It's an inlet hose, right? And I ordered that. I ordered some more soap because I was running low on soap. And I'm just gonna use that. I'm actually gonna take back the flat. I had a little flat hose and a hose reel. I had this whole setup that I was gonna use, and I'm just gonna take that back to Home Depot. And I'm just gonna run the 5-footer on the side of the house, connect to the pressure washer, and leave it at that. Well, that won't be here for a few days. So either I'm gonna leave this car dirty as shit, which honestly from, call it 15 feet away, you can't really tell how dirty it is, at least I can't. Or I could run it through here and just see how well my ceramic coating performs on an extremely dirty car. Pressure washer. This is the telltale sign down here. This is where all the debris and shit really cakes up back there. All right, then came all this way, right? Might as well run the test, right? Let's just see how it goes. It's only gonna cost me what, 10 bucks? And side note, I'm probably gonna have to get the shop to address this PPF right here, because the PPF was pre-cut, like laser cut or stencil cut with the machine, but it leaves this edge extremely vulnerable. And sure enough, this is the edge that the door was on the hinge, like right. The door was on the hinge like right here, and then it just kind of moved to that position, and in the garage it hit the wall. So it dented the drywall, which is not a big deal, but if it were something else that was harder, then this would be the portion of the car that would, you know, get damaged and completely you know, kind of like makes the purpose of PPF somewhat obsolete because it's not really protected. So, you know, depending on how they do it, there's that. But if they could do it in a way with bulk film that just wraps and tucks, that would be ideal. Alright, so it looks like it's only $2 to get started, and sure enough, I don't have a single dollar bill in here, so I'll be going credit card. I just wonder if it's going to let me do $2 on a credit card. Pre-authorizing post-pay account. Half the screen doesn't work, so I don't really know what it's saying here. This bill might be high when I'm done. All right, let's do pre-soak. Do pre-soak. No, high pressure soak. Yeah, we do high pressure soak. That means soap should be coming out. Oh, there we go. There we go. I think. I don't know. This is high pressure soap. I know it takes time for the product to switch in the system. I don't know if I've seen these stuff. Alright, we're going back to pre-soak. We're going back to pre-soak. Yeah, it looked like there's some product in that one. And then the only thing I really care about here is just making sure that this hose doesn't beat up against the side of the car and put dents in it and shit. That's pretty much it. The wheels are supposed to be coated. So we'll see how effective this method is. So all I'm going to do is this pre-soak, and then assuming this is soap that's coming out. I don't know the pH level of the soap. Hopefully it's not crazy acidic. I'm just going to do this. Try to hit as much of this as I can. And then rinse it off and do a high-speed dry. Which I'm hoping when I do that, it actually keeps my wheels cleaner longer, because my brakes won't have time to sit and set up and get rust. That rust is what's been getting me every time. I'm a little paranoid, and the wind picked up, and I didn't want it to. I didn't want to look over and see my phone on the ground. I've had that happen before. And this is a brand new phone. I didn't feel like breaking this one too. And honestly, I'm trying to shoot and record everything with just one camera, and it's just my phone. I don't have a fancy camera setup. I'd love to get all in and lock in like Luke, but you know, it ain't where I naturally go, and that's not my area of expertise. I actually did reach out to a company locally to see if they would set up a shoot for me, but I haven't heard back from them yet. Because, you know, they're professionals. Plus, support local business. But I'm just going to try to shoot as much as I can with just my little old Android, my little Galaxy. Try not to put a lot of water in this engine bay. And you know, Cars with Luke, it's actually kind of funny because a lot of his videos, he would just do coffee runs. I think we're going to make a coffee run later. my wife, I think she ordered our coffee maker today. We've been doing a lot of research and weighing the options and, you know, trying to pick a good one and get good coffee. But it's not easy. Like, there's a lot to choose from. And there's a lot to consider. But I can also see why it makes sense. It's like cars and coffee, caffeine and octane. But also, I can understand why, like, you would just go for a drive. You get the best of both worlds. Drive your car, enjoy it, but then also have great coffee made for you by professionals with expensive machines and skills that you just don't have, you don't possess. Which, you know, we're trying to perfect the perfect cup of coffee at home. But I know for a fact that we are still going to go out and get coffee. But it's also nice to be able to make it yourself and have it whenever you want. And also learn and, again, connect and communicate with that community. Because the coffee community is probably, if not as big as the damn car community. And a lot of it's going to have a lot of crossover too, probably. All right, high pressure rinse. Say that the car barely got up to operating temp by the time I got here. So, and I didn't do any hard braking, so my rotor shouldn't be hot, like crazy hot. There's a fair amount more pressure coming out of this rinse than my setup at home, but I don't think that it's actually more effective. There's a lot of crevices for soap to hide on this car. But my buddy Anthony, AB Coyote, in the comments, probably right. Rinsing this with a regular hose will probably, you know, lower pressure. Kind of like how the other day I put that hot water, the warm water, in the foam cannon bottle. The lower pressure prevented the foaming suds, so it made it more effective. I think the lower pressure on the rinse would actually make it more effective. There we go. We're all rinsed up. The screen's kind of broke, so I don't know if it'll say how much it costs. It looks like 12 bucks. I thought it was gonna be 10. Now, I can get my tripod out of here. We're gonna go for a high-speed dry. I got water all over my glasses. I guess we're close to operating temp. Go ahead and put it in sport. Look at that. See how dry we can get. Damn heads up display trying to get me in trouble. So what's the verdict? 12 bucks. Touchless, $12. And the wheels are still dirty. The wheels are still dirty, but they're not as dirty. The wheels are still dirty. I could have sworn I had like some handprints up here. I don't know if they're still there. They might be gone. Yeah, these wheels are still really filthy. This is 4K 60, and this is portrait on 4K 30. But yeah, you can still see how dirty these wheels are. They're filthy. All right, so my next wash for sure, some of that's gone, but yeah, this is nowhere near the same results that I would get at home. Even at home going touchless. So the next wash for sure, I'm gonna be putting mitts to it. I'm actually gonna try a technique that I saw a YouTuber, a detailer on YouTube using microfibers. And it seemed like a much better, more efficient process than the wash mitts. But nonetheless, this is the end result. And now we know. And if anything, I've just saved you $12. So you won't have to waste your time attempting what I just did. And I'll give this thing a legitimate wash that it deserves. And probably, today's Friday, I'd probably say like Monday, Tuesday, the new hose would show up. And I'll give it a wash. And I think I'm really in the mood today to test some shit. And so I don't have a diffuser on me, which I think is probably going to be the real solution to this. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to put this microphone in here somewhere where hopefully when the test is over, I can get my microphone back. But if I can put it somewhere that's magnetized, or the magnet will work on, that can also shield it. I got a microfiber. I'm gonna use this microfiber as my dead cat. Hopefully it doesn't muffle the sound too much. And then see if I can get this magnet to hold it in place here. It seems like it might work. I'm gonna put it over here on this side with something that's got a little more ass behind it. Hold it. Yeah, fine. I think I'll get my mic back. All right. I was talking this whole time. I'm like, wait, there's no way y'all gonna be able to hear me if the mic is in the trunk. All right, so I'll repeat what I said. If this parking deck was entirely full, this many people at this shopping center, this place would be a madhouse. We're coming down multiple levels of parking garage here. So give me a minute before I give you a wide open throttle pull. And we are currently in touring mode as far as sound goes. But I was saying that my wife and I and our daughter went to Bloomington, Indiana we went to go to the Mall of America. Also, noise cancellation's on, so I'm gonna turn that off in a minute. But we went to Mall of America, and the size of the parking deck situation and parking lot there is insane. And I can only imagine if that place was full, how wild and crazy that mall would be, packed with so many people. Not necessarily something that I would really want to experience. All right, we're out of the parking deck, and I am going to disconnect my mic on the inside because I don't want my air conditioning to take away from this glorious sound that we may have here in just a moment. Take the back way here. So I'm going to disconnect my in-cabin mic, and I'm going to, before I do that, make sure this box truck sees me, turn off. All right, noise cancellation is turned off, so you guys can tell the difference from that. Right. Lulu's to the right. Wide open throttle to the left. Make sure that the turn there, not up here. All right, we'll get one with my mic on. So you guys, we're still in touring mode, by the way. But we're gonna make a U-turn. We're gonna switch to sport, and you won't hear me anymore. Back at my home away from home, and yeah, we were about to have a whole new test, a whole new experiment. All these pumps are out of diesel, but we were going to see what it was like to push a nearly 4,000 pound supercar. We're at $3.95 a gallon for 93, and I will say that around here you will find pumps at like 91 or something. And so, you know, I've kind of figured out which gas stations have 93, and I try to stick to that. This is probably the busiest gas station I've been to in a while. But it's not very big, so there are a lot of folks here waiting. And I think somebody's actually waiting on this Denali to move so they can fill up, but I don't think there's anybody in the Denali. I think they went inside. Oh wait, no, the door's open. I don't know what's going on here. But what do you guys, you tell me, what is it, what draws you to, what attracts you to a car channel, a YouTube channel? Is it the car? Is it the title? Is it the types of videos or modifications or how-tos or installs or challenges, or like, what is it? Is it the car, or is it the person, the face of the channel, the presenter? Just kind of curious what you guys like, what if you've even thought about it. I know some people just watch it and you think, they're like, oh, I don't know why I watch it. I just do. Like Stradman, I think I like Stradman. I like his vid. I like everything. I don't think I put my finger on one particular reason why I watch and I like Stradman. All right, we are at 60 bucks. 15 gallons, 60 bucks. I just hit up Teddy, asking him if that was him, but I don't think that was him. I'm very pleased with my purchase. And yeah, that of course, but this is a ring that I just got, and it just dawned on me today that I didn't realize that I don't mind this ring. This ring is actually like silicone or something, but I replaced my tungsten ring that was really tarnished and apparently impossible to cut if ever need be in an emergency situation. So I'm very pleased with my purchase. I'm glad I got what I ordered. And the size actually worked out pretty well. I ordered a size 10, maybe 11, but I'm gonna stick with the 10. I think the 10 is good, especially for summertime, and come wintertime, it'll be perfect. But, you know, as we're talking about YouTube, somebody's waving at me. I don't know who that is. As we're talking about YouTube, I don't know who this is. Is she waving at that lady? Maybe she's waving at that lady. Oh, okay. All right. This lady is saying, say hi to your wife, but she's told me, say hi, if she used her YouTube channel name. But, yeah, so like, you know, talking about YouTube and clickbait, you know, not getting what you expected or what you clicked on or what, you know, what you paid for in essence, really, right? I mean, we're paying for these videos with our time. And I appreciate you guys spending the time hanging out with me. But is there a time like when clickbait is actually good? Like hear me out. I was actually having this conversation with my brother, and I tell you what, let me get my mic. Let me get my mic out of the back of the car and plug it in and talk to you guys, because I already know that the wind is picking up and I don't want to be rude to you guys. See, I just attached it to my bag of microfibers. I put the one end of the magnet on the inside of the bag, and then the other one connected inside the microfiber. So we'll have to run that audio back and see how it sounds. Yeah, it's way better. Plus the AC's pumping in here, and that is what I need. It is like 90, probably. Gotta go back and drive. Oh, it's only 88? Yo, earlier I checked, it said 94. It's baking. It's getting hot out here. But yeah, is there an instance where clickbait is actually good? Because I sent my brother a link. I sent him a clip earlier today of Wheeler. And I said, dude, you know, I was actually watching this Wheeler video where he was about to go to the drag strip and line up next to a Lamborghini Revuelto. It's hard for me to say that word. And he was just giving a rundown of the car, how hot it was, what to expect, yada, yada, yada. And he casually, like nonchalantly says, you know, 1,000+ wheel horsepower. And it dawned on me two things. One, we live in an age where you can go to a Chevrolet dealership and buy, or at least attempt to buy a 1,000 wheel horsepower car from the factory that still has AC. That was one of the jokes I told him. I said, you don't have to disconnect the AC belt to get the extra power. And if you're a old school old school tuner car guy, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And so, number one, that's the world we live in, where you can go to the dealership and buy a 1,000 wheel horsepower car from Chevrolet. But number two was that it's actually kind of clickbait. It's clickbait because it's underrated. It's underrated. And so in that instance, is clickbait okay when it's underrated and you don't get what you expected, but you get far more? Like, is that okay? And I don't know about you guys, but I would be extremely pleased with that purchase. Buying a car with 1,064 crank horsepower and putting down over 1,000 wheel, realizing that there's no way you only lose 64 horsepower through the crank, through the drivetrain, you know? And, you know, I think that is going to play a major part in the future of ZR1s and their value, which I don't think that the interior is going to have that much of a big deal or that much of an impact, considering 2026 is going to see an interior refresh. The 2025s are actually probably going to be the most sought after and desired because there's only 1 year of that interior great wall of buttons. However, I did a little bit of research and I was kind of curious, and even adjusted for inflation, C7 ZR1s are on average going for, listed for sale and selling for over MSRP, for more than what they were bought for new. I'm kind of curious how the C8 ZR1 will fare in the future from a perspective of appreciation. I think that the ZR1, depending on the quantity and what we see on the secondary market, could have an impact on Z06's prices going down or up. For instance, you kind of want a ZR1 really bad, more so than an E-Ray, which I didn't watch Brink of Speed, but I saw he was trying to sell his, and I wonder why. But if you really want a Z06, or I'm sorry, you really want a ZR1, but you realize that secondary ZR1s are actually going for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, which the C7 is selling for more than what they were sold for new, currently pre-owned with miles on the clock. But they didn't experience the additional dealer markup, at least I don't think, like the C8 ZR1s are. Some folks paying $50,000, $100,000 or more to get their hands on one early, which people did that with Stingrays. They did it with Z06s, and now Chevrolet is begging folks to come take them off the lots. So if ZR1s on the secondary market are priced too high, I think it may actually drive up the value of Z06s as they are the next step logically and still affordably. But if ZR1 prices start coming down on the secondary market, availability becomes far easier, more capable from a dealership perspective, then I think that the Z06 would follow suit. Or it just holds its own in this sweet spot of naturally aspirated flat plane crank goodness. Because look, 1,000 horsepower ain't bad at all. 9-second car from the factory without making any changes and modifications, with a big old box from Stellantis and changing ECUs and putting skinnies on the front. You can't beat that shit. Let alone, they don't even put a parachute on the back. That was a nice little gimmick for the 170. But there's something special about this guy right here, and I freaking love it. Even when she's dirty, she's still clean as fuck. We're here for coffee. I think I see it down there. Oh man, this 10x zoom is crazy when you're walking. If you ask the internet for the best coffee in this area, there's two names that pop up: Turbo and Stock and Brew. We've had Stock and Brew, but we weren't really into coffee like that back then, so we'll have to try Stock and Brew again, but they close at 5 and Turbo stays open until 7. But I'm wondering What makes it a great coffee spot? Do they have great coffee? Or do they just have a cool vibe? People like the white paint on the wall and the shiplap. What do you think?
Probably pretty decent coffee, I would think.
Turbo coffee.
I'm gonna go with
I went with the sidecar. And he said that this was roughly 2 hours old. So he said that they last for like 5 to 7. We'll see how it tastes.